Hi guys, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. Tonight we are doing a bit of a balance flow. So you'll need a couple blocks for this one, but if you don't have blocks then you could just do the whole flow without. But we're gonna specifically work with blocks tonight and just show you different ways you can use them in some balancing poses. So let's get started. We're going to start in child's pose. So bring your knees wide and your big toes touching and stretch your arms forward. So long deep breaths in and out through the nose here. Let your shoulders sink down, let your hips sink back towards your heels. Turn your hands now so that the thumbs point up towards the ceiling, or you can open your palms up towards the ceiling. Continue with those long deep breaths in and out through the nose. Keep the hips sinking back towards the heels. Then turn the palms back onto the floor. We're going to lift up and walk over to the right side. Bow towards your right knee. On your next inhale, lift up, then go over to your other side and bowing towards that knee. Chin tucked in. Alright, and then come back to center from here. So we're going to use the blocks for a variation of puppy pose. You can grab one or two. I'm going to use two, but you could do with one if you just have the one. We're going to bring the elbows on to the blocks, and then we're going to drop the head and bring the thumbs to the back of the head or to the neck. And try to keep the hips sinking back. And then release. And now changing the body position, keeping your arms where they are, but now lifting your hips, walking your knees slightly back here, and then sinking back, pulling or just kind of dropping the belly down. Getting a little bit more intense in the shoulders there and the lats. And just take one more deep breath in and out. And then releasing from there. So press up, just bring the blocks over to the side for now. Tabletop position. So let's go cow-cat. Rounding the spine and releasing the spine. So inhaling and then exhaling. Move around circle motion. Pick a direction to move to. Pick counterclockwise and then do a couple more the opposite direction. And just go back and forth. Bending your elbows, trying to kind of stay fluid throughout. come back to center. So we're going to lift the right leg back behind and then swing it in front here, getting ready for variation of gate pose. So we're gonna bring the hand onto the floor, we're gonna twist open with that right arm, leaning to the left, and then release down. So go ahead and grab your block. And we're just gonna prop the hand, left hand up on the block, and then we're gonna do the same thing. Opening up. So just the low block here, and then we're going to bring it back down, and then we're gonna go medium block. So turn your block so that you're holding onto the skinny edge, and then do that same thing, opening up. And then bring it down, and then go to your high block, highest level, and opening up. Okay, and then release back down. Okay, you're gonna get rid of that block for now. We're gonna reach up, both arms here. Now we're gonna get to the left side of the body, so that our right hand is gonna come down to the leg, and we're targeting that left side body line. One more breath here. Okay, and then we're going to grab onto that block on the left side here, and then we're going to block just down by your side and then go over. So we're targeting the right side now. Keeping that right leg active. And then we're going to come out, and then we're going to bring the block, spin this way, just beside the foot. So back and right beside the ankle there in the high position, and then we're just gonna tip back. So getting a little bit of a back bend, getting a little bit of a twist, pressing your hips forward into extension there, breathing into that space there in the belly, and then we're going to release by bringing the arm down across the face, and then you can transition out of that position and just bring your block with you. So set it aside, bring it back onto the floor, switching sides. We're going to take the left leg back and then swing it out to the left, and then open right away. Just hand onto the floor, lifting that left arm up. And then release down, grab onto the block underneath the hand, low position, reaching up. Releasing down, and medium position, reaching up. And releasing down, and now high position, reaching up, opening, and releasing down. Now the block is going to go beside you, so you're just going to reaching at an angle. So before it was in front, so there's this reaching forward, and now it's beside your knee, just like on the other side. So we're just getting this straight body line from your hand to your foot. Try to shoot out like an angle, just a straight angle here as best as you can. Try to keep this bottom arm locked, straight. And then we're going to change that angle again, just come out and then bring it back to just beside the ankle. So now we're tipping back, and then you should feel like your hips are pressing forward. You should feel like there's more of an opening there in the heart and hips. Looking over the shoulder and just breathing deep there. Okay, and then let the arm pass across your face, that left arm, and then you're coming out of that position. So coming back to tabletop position. Okay, our first balance pose will be right hand on the block, left knee on the block. So we're still in tabletop position. So we're just going to change up your ground a little bit, and then we're gonna move into bird dog. So the right leg is gonna lift, and the left arm is going to lift. So playing around with that instability, just to challenge your muscles a little bit. Now we're going to bring it in, so the elbows into the knee, knee to the elbow, and then we're going to reach away. Bring it in, go nice and slow. It's definitely really wobbly here, holding onto the blocks. And if again you don't have those blocks, then you're just doing what I'm doing without them. So you can still do this motion, you can still do bird dog. We're just adding in the element of instability just to keep your muscles guessing. Woo-hoo. And then releasing down. Okay, let's switch it up. So the block will be underneath your left hand, and the other block will be underneath your right knee. Left hand, right knee. All right, so when you're ready, reaching out, finding where you're centered there. And keep reaching out through the arm, reaching out through the leg. Breathing into that. Okay, let's bring some movement into it. So elbow into the knee, knee to the elbow, and reaching forward. Bring it in nice and slow, and then reaching forward. Exhale, so we move with your breath. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Let's do one more. And inhale. Definitely shaking in weird places here, and then releasing down. Okay, so again, just move your blocks off to the side. Tabletop position, down dog. So tuck your toes under and lift your hips. Walk it out. Bending left knee, bending right knee. All right, looking forward at the hands. You can step up to them, up to the top of the mat, and just fold forward there. Breathe in, breathe out. And then back to center and rise up all the way. So we could reach up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, hands to the heart, clasp your fingers, press down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hands back behind you, clasping behind you. Pull back, look up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale. So just starting that breath flow, getting the body warmed up even more. Back behind you, clasping. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So bow forward, hold this forward fold. Just paying attention to your feet as well. Pick up your toes, drop them onto the floor. All right, and then coming up all the way, reaching up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, step your right foot back, drop your right knee down to the floor, sweep your arms overhead, just one breath here. Exhale, hands down to the floor, step back into plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Step your right foot forward, left knee down. Inhale, exhale, hands down to the floor. Step forward to the top. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up all the way. Exhale, we're just gonna keep flowing to warm up the body. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step left foot back. Knee down, arms reaching up. Exhale, hands down. Step back into plank pose. Chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot forward, right knee down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step forward to the top. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold, and inhale, come up all the way. Exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, so we're gonna grab onto one block. Bring it up overhead. We're gonna hold onto it to the skinny side edges in front and then overhead. So we're gonna go to the left side first. So squeeze that block. So use your arms, use your hands, and really try to squeeze the block as best as you can as you're leaning over to the left. Now, legs are engaged as well, kneecaps are lifting, so the quadriceps are engaged, really grounding in through the feet. Now coming back to center, and then go over to the other side. So same thing, try to activate this pose by squeezing the arms together, squeezing that block. So you should feel that resonate through the rest of your body as well, contracting the abdominal muscles, contracting the leg muscles, and then coming back to center. And then take the block back behind you, just kind of spin it, and pretend it's like just a head rest back behind you, and then lean back. Press your head into the block, and the block into your head, and just lean back into it. So you're putting this extension into the upper spine, lifting up out of the back. Try to draw your elbows in together. Breathe. And then releasing. So lifting that block up again, and then take it forward halfway. Now start to bend your knees just a little bit here. So not to your fullest extent, flexion with this spine. So just a halfway mark, but you don't want your knees like totally locked out. You don't want to be kind of folding forward like this. Try to stay lifted. That's what's going to activate your core muscles. Arms alongside the ears, pressing the block together, and then all the way down, forward fold. Block to the floor, and then we'll do some halfway lift. So we're gonna breathe in an inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, forward fold, drop the head, and look, tuck your chin and look at your knees. And then inhale, look forward, try to get a flat back, use that block, or even fingertips on top of the block to try and get a nice lift into the spine. And then exhale, forward fold. Pull the chest in towards the top of the thighs. Okay, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hold that forward fold. All right, so releasing the block out to the side. From here, step your right foot back, drop your right knee down to the floor. Take the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back into plank pose. Kick your left leg underneath your right leg for side plank pose. You can bring that foot to the floor, by the way, if it's too much. Otherwise, keep that bottom leg hovering. Bring it back around to plank pose. Lower through chaturanga, lift into up dog or cobra, and then come back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, left knee down to the floor. Reaching up. Bring the hands back onto the floor. Step back, kick your right leg underneath your left leg. Side plank pose. As best you can, one more breath. And then come out of that, back to plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or cobra, and then come back into downward facing dog. All right, I was sticking with that theme of side plank pose. So just set it up by bringing the knees down to the floor and then bringing a block behind you near your feet. So what we're going to do is balance on the left hand first for side plank pose. And the top leg is going to be on the block. Okay, so as best you can, try to hold that top leg on the block. And my front leg, my right leg is going to be in front of my left leg. Okay, and then releasing out. And then we're just gonna go around and switch sides. It's gonna get a lot spicier here in a moment. So just kind of testing stuff out. So the right leg will be on the block. So the top leg will be on the block. And the bottom leg, left leg, will be on the floor. And then releasing down. Okay, going over back over to this other side here. We're gonna go medium or going to go to the low block because we need some support here for what's gonna happen next. So the top foot is going to be on the block. That bottom leg is going to be underneath. Okay, and then I want you to lift your bottom foot off the floor as best as you can. So holding that side plank. So as best you can, that hand, your left hand underneath your left shoulder, in front of your shoulder, just in front of your shoulder to hold that. One more breath, and then release down. Go to the other side. So it's going to be the top leg, top foot on the block. So it's a low block. So it's going to be kind of behind this time, by the way. So as long as your top leg is on the block and then that bottom leg, you need to pull it off of the floor. So the left foot is floating. You want to squeeze the inner thighs together. Pull the bottom shoulder under you. One more breath. And then releasing out. Okay, so those are side plank block balances here. So we're going to go back to downward facing dog. Walk it out. Lift your right leg up into the air. Bend into your right knee. Open the hip. Then do a circle around. Bring the right knee down, then out and up. Circle around the hip joint. All right, now step forward. Grab onto a block. Let's do a warrior flow block flow. We're gonna reach up, holding onto that block. Like we said before in Tadasana, you're just holding into the skinny sides of the block here and squeezing. So activating the arms. So warrior one. Okay, so we're gonna go into warrior two pose, and we're just gonna hold onto that block with the right hand. So on top, holding it down, reaching out through the arms. Collarbone spread nice and wide. Now we're gonna tip it back, and then you can just kind of bring the block, the weight of the block overhead here. Extended side angle, using the block on the inside part of the right foot, and you can go medium high or low. And try to just use the block, even though you can go down onto the floor if you have before in the past, or you're used to doing it without blocks. Just try the blocks tonight just to see how it feels. Try something new. So my block is high right now, and I'm in an extended side angle. Top arm is lifting, and then we're going to come back into warrior two position. Come back into another reverse warrior, and then come back into warrior two position. Now Trikonasana, so straighten out through the front leg and then drop into it. So hand, let's go on the inside part of the foot. Again, my block is going to be high position, and we're reaching up with the left arm. And again, if it's easy enough to use the leg, but we're going to use the block tonight. So as best as you can, try to hold onto that block. If you need to come up onto the fingertips on top of your block, if you feel like the block is lower, if you're used to grabbing up here, then you can move this block forward, maybe to closer to your knee, and still lift up. You're gonna kind of use the support on the inside part of your leg as well, kind of pressing your wrist or your forearm kind of into the leg to encourage the legs, the hip to open, as well as get that side stretch on that left side body. All right, and then coming out of that position, we're going to go into reverse Trikonasana. Pick up that block, we're taking it over, and then we're going to come out, and then we're just going to bring it down, and then we're going to hop that back foot in just a few inches, so that you're in a shorter stance. We're turning that back foot in so that you're in a pyramid stance, and the hips can square a little bit more. What we're gonna do next is revolve Trikonasana here. We're gonna take the block in with your left hand, reach it up overhead, right hand onto your hip. Okay, now lean just halfway forward. Little bit of bend into that right knee as you lean halfway forward. Now pull your right hip back with your hand. So feel your hip crease, even just pulling your hip crease back. And then we're gonna slowly lower that arm, block to floor. Okay, hand onto the block, and keep your hand onto your hip here, your right hand, and start to look over the shoulder. As you look over the shoulder, see if you can keep that right hip pulling back as best as you can, even adding a little bit of pressure, or dig your fingers in to help pull it back, and then you should feel that hamstring start to really stretch. So you're trying to keep your hips squaring as you're rotating. So you're going to rotate abdomen, rib cage, shoulder, and then neck, head. Maybe arm if you are feeling comfortable in the balance. So it is more of a challenge. Now, if you're very comfortable with your revolve triangle, then try bringing that block on the outside part of the foot. Okay, and this will send your spine into a deeper twist. So you'll get way more twisting action out of that. And you can keep your hand on your hip, by the way, or you can lift up. Okay, definitely more of a balance challenge if you have the block on the outside part of your foot as opposed to the inside. You'll see what I mean if you're trying it out. And then we're releasing out. So hand down and then block away. We're just going to take it off of the mat and step back into plank pose. Lower through chaturanga, take it into up dog or cobra, and then take it back into down dog. We're gonna do that 3 more times. Come forward, exhale, inhale, exhale. 1, inhale, exhale, up dog, down dog. 2, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So back downward facing dog. We're gonna do the left leg next. So left leg's gonna lift up, bend into the knee. Just breathing that out. And you can circle around here now in that hip. Circle, circle, circles, just nice slow circles. All right, now step forward with that left foot. Turn your back foot, getting ready for a warrior flow. So grab onto the block, here we go. Come on up, looking forward. So knee over top of the front ankle there. Back leg is straight, engaged. There's a lot of engagement through the back leg. So the front knee has some bend into it, and you can go deeper. You can widen your stance to go into a deeper lunge if you wish. Take it out to warrior two pose. So the top hand or the left hand will have the block here for warrior two. Reaching back. Think of the tailbone pulling, just dropping down. Belly button drawing in, and then reverse warrior. So block overhead, and then hand just gently kind of resting on that back leg. Breathing as best as you can here, that left side of the body. Okay, warrior two position, and then extended side angle. So bringing the block down, I'm doing the high block position again, right in the inside part of my knee here, or my elbow is about in the inside part of my knee. So I can press my elbow into my knee into the elbow, and I can get some stability there. My right leg's still pretty active. So even though I've done this pose a million times without the block, and I can get down low and I could bind, this is still affecting me in different areas of the body. So don't be shy about using the block or think that the block is kind of cheating. It's just different. So there's no right or wrong, there's just different, and it's really good for the body to just explore the different ways that you can practice your yoga pose. So one, going to like the most extreme pose may just, you may just kind of get lazy in that pose. And so if you back out or just kind of change your angle, sometimes you work different muscles, and you'd be surprised that you'd feel sore after not feeling sore for years of doing the same pose, right? So it's just about change. And then we're gonna come out, enough of that talk, we're gonna come out of the warrior, or extended side angle, warrior two, and then straighten out through the front leg. Let's do a reverse Trikonasana here, and then go into Trikonasana. So straight leg, and then coming down. So again, just kind of targeting that same side line of the body. Reaching that top arm, kind of leaning back to the left. So again, if you feel like you need to lift up higher, then you can kind of use your leg a little bit, hug that block right in the inside part of the leg, come up onto your fingertips, and use more core to help lift you up. So don't just kind of fall into it and start rounding the shoulders. You want to stay open and expansive in your Trikonasana. Okay, and then we'll come back to another reverse Trikonasana. So slowly come up. Inhale. Keep breathing. And then we're going to exhale it all out. So taking it down and then stepping it back into plank pose. Lowering through Chaturanga. Lift into up dog or cobra, and then come back into downward facing dog. doing that left side again because I totally forgot that we need to do pyramid pose. So we're gonna step forward with the left foot and the right foot's gonna step forward a little bit. We just got another vinyasa in there. That's all good. Okay, grab onto the block with your right hand. We're gonna take that right arm up. Okay, left hand on the hip and just focus on chest facing forward, hips facing forward. A little bit of bend into that front knee and go halfway down. Okay, so just as you're going halfway down, you're pushing back through this back leg. You're thinking about a whole bunch of length happening through the spine here, and that's gonna help you with your twist. Now come all the way down, just lower your arm, block onto the floor, and just start with a block just a few inches in the inside part of your left foot for now. And then turn and just see how that feels. So turning over to the left, spinning, think of the abdomen, think of the rib cage, shoulders, head, neck, and then see how that feels. Maybe lifting up through that top arm. Okay, and if you feel like you want to go a little bit deeper, like I said, on the other side, you can take that block on the outside part of your left foot and challenge the balance a lot more, reaching up through that left arm. Make sure you're leaning forward, try to pull the left hip back. So if you're not feeling that left hip is being cranky on you, then you need to keep your hand there and keep pulling it back. So sometimes just a little bit of self-adjustment, pushing it back to the back of your mat will help you just kind of realign your hips a little bit. So what you want to feel is your inner thighs pull in towards each other and that back hip or that left hip pull back. Okay, releasing out. And you can get rid of that block there. And then we're just going to step it back to lunge and then step it back into plank pose. Lowering through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog and then exhale to down dog. 2 more times. Inhale forward. Exhale down. Inhale up dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Inhale forward. Exhale. Up dog cobra and then coming back to downward facing dog. Walking it out. Okay, so going to squat pose. So just kind of walking your hands back and sitting in squat position. So don't worry if your heels are touching the floor. You may not be warmed up enough yet, or if they do touch the floor, that's great. Knees are wide, hands to the heart, and just holding that position to start with. A really good ankle stretch here, hip stretch. Squats are good for digestion. They're so good for your back, incredibly good for your spine. All right, so we're going to just do a little bit of twisting. So right hand onto the floor. The left arm is going to reach up. And then release down, switching sides. Right arm's going to reach up. And then bring it down. So we're going to do crow pose next with the blocks. We're going to perch on the blocks. Again, you can do this if you have some good balance. You can do it on just one block, but I'm putting 2 side by side so I have a bigger, longer platform for myself. So 1 foot on each block, perching up so that my hips are higher. So if you have problems just kind of getting up, or if you have just your wrists aren't conditioned enough and you feel sore immediately in your wrist, this might help you a little bit. So take some weight off the wrist and you can kind of get the feeling of the pose. So what you want to do, spread your fingers nice and wide, lift your hips up, and you may also just feel it's just like way more easier to get those knees to your triceps or into the shoulders, outer shoulders there, which is where they need to be. So leaning forward enough, just tip up and just feel it. So try to take one foot off the block to start. And if you're well versed in your crow, then just go right into it. Leaning forward. Okay, and then releasing back down. All right, had to do a little bit of arms there. So blocks out of the way. From there, walking forward to plank pose, lowering through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or cobra, and then exhale back into downward facing dog. All right, so next up, you're gonna step or hop up to the hands. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, folding forward. Grab onto your block again. I'm just gonna do a little bit of leg activation here. So the block is gonna go in between the legs here, just above your knees. So let's go Utkatasana, reaching the arms forward. So try to bring your feet as close as you can together. So they will be kind of turned in, but of course there's a block there, so it's unlikely that your feet will be together. That's fine. You want to squeeze the block though. So just how your arms were squeezing the block, and it's kind of an isometric hold there. The same thing is happening with your quads now, with your legs. Hips are pulling back, and then we're gonna stand. Inhale, and then exhale, sink down. And then inhale, lift up. And then exhale, sink down. If your arms are just exhausted, then your hands can be here. That's fine. So we're just working the legs. Okay, and then reaching up. And then coming down, holding that again. Get down nice and low. Keep pressing the block, squeezing the block. And then releasing. So standing up, inhale. And then exhale. We are going to stand on the block now. Place it on the floor. We're going to do some balancing. So let's step onto the block with the right foot. We're going to start with tree pose tonight. So as best as you can, find your ground. And then we're going to lift up the left foot. So if this feels really super wobbly, just do a little tree. Take your foot in the inside part of the ankle. Don't hold on to anything. So falling out, like I've said before, is a really good sign. Falling out of balance, because it's teaching your body, it's just teaching your body. Every time you make a mistake and correction, that's your body learning how to balance and how to restabilize. So that is always a good thing. But try doing something hard, something that's going to challenge you. I may fall, that's fine. And again, just changing up that ground just to challenge the body. So hands could be at your heart. You can reach up alongside your ears if you like. Focus ahead of you. But like I said, if you don't have a block, then you're just doing tree pose on the ground. Maybe try just standing on a cushion at home if you don't have a block. Standing on something that's not your mat and not a solid floor. Okay, releasing out within reason. Standing on a soccer ball will be a little bit more of a challenge, but you could try. That would definitely improve your performance. Okay, left leg is going to be on the block after you shook it out. And then again, you start with a little tree. You can start right into your big tree, whatever you're going to feel comfortable with. Noting that one side will be your dominant leg, one side will be less or more stable than the other. So just try to do the best you can and try to do the same thing that you did on the other side, but again, aiming for symmetry. And just kind of shifting your awareness here as you're balancing too, shifting your focus to what's in front of you, kind of focusing, softly focusing to coming right back into just kind of noting what's happening in, say, your foot, say, trying to stabilize through all the corrections your body is making to help you stay stable. Try not to laugh. Okay, we're releasing out of that pose as well. So shake it out. That is a good calf burner. You guys definitely try it. Standing on something, stand on a cushion at home. Pick up your block now, and we are going to do the same arm activation. So holding onto the skinny side of the block, overhead. Deep breath in, and then exhale, halfway forward fold. Inhale, lift up. Now lift your right leg in front of you, and then swing it back slowly and go into warrior three. Now keep squeezing the block as best as you can, and then coming back to center. Okay, and then do the same thing with the left leg. So we're going to start with the left leg in front, and then swinging it back. As you're swinging, you're tipping forward. Press and squeeze that block. Don't forget to keep active. And then releasing. Reaching up over to the right side. Come back to center, and then over to the left side. Go back to center. And releasing, just release that block all the way down to the floor. Step to the top of the mat, inhale halfway. Exhale, jump or step back, find plank. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhale to downward facing dog, walk it out. Look forward, step or hop up to the hands. All right, so using the block again for Garudaasana, for eagle pose, and again, you may not need the block at all. This might not do anything for you, but for beginners, this is going to be maybe helpful for you for eagle pose if you have trouble with the balance. So we're going to balance on the left foot, so the block is going to be on the outside of the left foot. And what we're going to do is just cross the legs, and then the top foot is just going to be resting on the block while you sink down. Okay, that's all that's going to be helping you for. So it's not challenging, and it's more just helping you balance that. But if you don't want that assist, and you kind of like the feeling of trying to move, then just do without the block for this one. We're going to move into the arms. So reaching out, and then take the left arm over top of the right arm. Left arm over right, and the right arm scoops up underneath. So that block is there. Maybe if you just want to tap it and then just let it go and tap it just to feel like there's something going to catch you so you're not going to fall. That could be helpful as well if you're new to eagle pose. But some people can't do the cross-legged, tight cross-legged, so you may be here and the block's not going to help you there, sorry. Just throwing it out though. Reaching up through the arms, elbows, pulling away from your face. and then releasing out. Reaching up, inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Block on the other side, outside of your right foot, and then you can start. So crossing the left foot over your right, and again, that's gonna help you just feel stable in the pose, so that your legs are locked, you're grounded here, and then the arms, your right arm is gonna go over top of your left arm. You can hug your shoulders, by the way. If you have really stiff shoulders, this is what you're gonna do. And that'll be fine. You don't have to have your arms, your forearms going up and down like I am. So breathing deep, breathing into those shoulders and breathing into your back. And then releasing out. Sweep up, inhale, exhale, forward fold. Okay, just have the block near the top of the mat, stepping to the top of the mat, jump or step back to plank pose, lower through chaturanga. To up dog or cobra, and then come back to downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg up, bend into the right knee, and then step forward with the right foot. Okay, we're gonna do standing split half moon next. So block is gonna be in front, and you can use 2 blocks, by the way. I'll just have 2 blocks near me so I can show you. So say if you have 2 blocks, then you're just going to be here. So you're holding on 2 blocks, your back leg is out in the air, and then if you have the flexibility, then you're probably not going to use blocks and you're just going to fold forward. So, but if you don't, then definitely, yeah, you're using the blocks, 2 blocks, holding that. Now for half moon position, we're going to hold on to just the left block here. So let's go the high position with the block and holding that block. And it's going to be about a foot in front and then a few inches out to the left of your right foot. So make sure there's a good distance. You're not going to be like way back here. You're going to be in front of your foot at a diagonal from your big toe, from your right big toe, so that when you lean forward, this is going to stabilize you. Your shoulder over top of your wrist here is going to help you stabilize. And then you're going to, this is a revolved half moon, so you're going to rotate. So just like your revolved Trikonasana, your hand can be on your hip, and you can reach up with your arm here. Okay, and then releasing out. And then you can just step back into lunge, and then step back into plank and lower through chaturanga, to up dog or cobra, to downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Step it forward. Blocks in front if you wish. Pop up. Sink down if you wish. Holding that. Revolved half moon, the left hand or right hand will have the block in the high position. Again, it's going to be at an angle from your left big toe. So shift forward enough. Feel like your right inner thigh is lifting up towards the ceiling. So think of it, your inner thigh rolling up as you are rotating to the left, hand reaching up. Play around with movement as well. So you can lean even more forward to get more rotation through the spine. And then releasing out. Stepping back into lunge. Stepping back into plank pose. Lowering through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, and then exhale back into downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg up. Step forward with your right foot. Okay, now it's half moon, and we're just gonna go into it from this lunge pose. So we're gonna hold on to the block with the right hand. So we're gonna be balancing on the right hand and the right foot here. And again, you can measure it. So the block is going to be about a block's distance in front of your foot. So it's about 6 inches in front of your foot. And again, you want to have it enough distance. You don't want to be too far to your foot. Otherwise, you're not going to find any stability. So leaning up, finding it, taking your left hand to your left hip. And then again, you can kind of still look down and think about that left hip opening. So you don't necessarily have to look up. If you want to look up but you feel like it's too terrifying, then bring your look over your shoulder first with your hand on your hip, and then lift your arm last. So don't lift your arm first and then look. That's usually what's going to throw you off. So start by looking with your hand on your hip. That way you know what's going to happen, and then you can slowly do that. All right, and then releasing out. Woohoo! Coming down, back into lunge, stepping back into plank, blowing through chaturanga to up dog or cobra, and then back to downward facing dog. Left leg is next, so lifting it up. Let's send the left foot forward. And then again, from lunge, you're just going to set it up. So the block, again, not going to be at an angle. It's going to be in front. So make sure that's going to happen too. So just like think about your side plank position, you're going to want your shoulder over your wrist when you pop up. So you need to either walk it more forward, just kind of depending on the length of your torso. So you got to measure from there. I'm saying 6 inches in front, but your torso might be way longer than mine. So you may need more like 8 inches in front of your standing leg. Pressing out. So once you're up here, again, it's a little bit more of a challenge if you're used to holding onto the floor, like I am, and as opposed to using this block to balance. So kind of throwing me off, which is good. But once you found that ground here, through your leg, through your hand, then this top arm, the right arm, and the left leg and the right leg is going to be activated, actively pushing out and trying to take up space. And then we're going to release out, and then step back to plank, lower through chaturanga. Take it into up dog. Okay, let's take a rest, take it to child's pose. Just let your body go to neutral for a moment. Breathe into your back. For about 2 more deep breaths in and out. Okay, so slowly start to come back up. Okay, so we're going to do some groundwork here. We're going to do a little bit of core work. We're going to sit on the block. So you can use 2 blocks if you want, but basically you're just going to sit on the block, tailbone. Make sure your tailbone at least is on the block. And again, you can use a couple blocks if you want. And we're going to start by balancing in Navasana. So taking your legs out in front of you, and maybe you're just holding onto your knees and doing that, and that's fine as well. So straight leg if possible, bent knees if you want. Okay, and then we're going to take the arms over to the right. So you can do this with bent knees as well, but try to rotate to the right side. And then come back to center, and then rotate to the other side, to the left. And then come back to center, and then bring the feet onto the floor, and then we're just going to do a reach. So you're just kind of basically in a squat, and I'm pull the knees as close as you can into yourself. My feet are on the floor, and my heels are on the floor, and I'm reaching in front. Stretching the back, stretching the hip flexors even, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to take the hands onto the floor, and then we're going to lean way back, and then we're going to pull the knees in, and leaning way back, and then pull the knees in. If this is too much, then you're just doing a little bit of a rocking motion. You're not going to the extreme. And then just one more. Way back, and then in, and then plant those feet down, knees bent, and reach. And then one leg out, and then reach. And then switch which leg, bend the right knee, bring the left leg up, and then reach. Keep moving. Okay, bend the left knee and the right leg straight, and then you're reaching through. My right leg is just slightly angled out to the right. It's not straight out in front of me. And then switch. So not quite a V shape position, but pretty close. So you should feel that in your hip flexors. So I'm reaching, try to reach as best as I can here, forward. And then releasing out. Okay, so take the block away. And then we'll just go into onto the spine here. So rolling like a ball, grab onto the backs of the knees. Inhale, rock back, forward. Okay, and then we're just going to do a little bit of variation of what we just did. So as we're rocking, we're going to bring the kind of like a figure four. So the left knee is going to be pointing up, and the right knee is going to be down. So I'm kind of ankles crossed a little bit, and then you're just going to reach through. And then when you come back, you're going to switch which leg is crossed so that your right knee will be pointing up and your left knee will be down, and then you're going to reach through. Okay, and you're just going to keep switching the cross in your ankles, and then doing a reach. Okay, and then we're just going to end up crossing the ankles. So in Sukhasana, and then we're going to do a reach forward and relax. You can use your block for this one if you want, kind of prop yourself up, or a couple blocks, or bolster in front. So we're just going to hang out here for a little bit and just stretch some hips. Breathing into the back. right leg in front of you, we're going to bring that left leg back behind and then move into a variation of pigeon pose. So, taking yourself upright in pigeon here, and again, you can use blocks for this, say in front of you, holding yourself upright. If you feel like you need a little bit more support, then you can go ahead and use that block. You can just come up onto your fingertips. So we're going to stay very long in both of these sides here. We're just going to just solely do the extended pigeon, okay? So a little, the active form of pigeon pose, not the sleeping pigeon. So what you want to do in this pigeon pose is press the top of your foot into the floor, your left foot into the floor, and then think about lifting your left kneecap off of the floor. So you're activating the muscles in your leg here and letting your hips sink down at the same time. So try to activate. Let's activate holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let that kneecap rest and relax all the muscles on that left leg. Okay, and keep breathing into it. Another deep breath in and out. Okay, so to come out, we're just going to go to plank pose and then switch which side. So we're going to tuck the back toes under, go to plank, switch. So left leg is forward, right top of the foot is onto the floor. Stay in that extended version of pigeon pose. As best as you can, just kind of stay stable, not leaning over to the left or right too much, but again, just using your hands to keep you propped up. Okay, now we're going to go on to activation. So push the top of the foot into the floor and see if you can feel your right kneecap lift off the floor. So that means your quads are engaged. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then relax all the muscles in your right leg and just let that go. Keep holding. Another deep breath in and out. Okay, so from here we're just going to rock onto the left hip, swing the right leg all the way around, and then we'll come back onto the spine. So rolling like a ball. This time to get down onto the floor, no more active poses. So we're gonna rock back, inhale, and then exhale forward. So do that a couple times. If you are done with the rocking motion, then you just go right to happy baby pose. That is fine as well. Okay, happy baby. So on your back and head on the floor, grab onto the knees or shins or grab onto your feet. So rock from side to side. Okay, hold on to the right knee. And let your right leg go, or let your left leg go onto the floor. So straight onto the floor, unless you need to bend into the knee to keep your back flat onto the floor. Otherwise, you're pulling that knee in. Try to pull the low back in at the same time. Everything's sinking down. Give it a good squeeze. And then really sink so the knee is above your hip. And then cross your right knee over to the left and guide it down to the floor. Now, if you're holding this position for a long time, we're not going to tonight, but something you can try while you have blocks around is just propping your knee up with a couple blocks. So really good for pregnancy. You'll be doing that pose quite a bit. But if you're in a yin class, say, holding this pose for minutes at a time, this is kind of what you want as well. It's just a nice supportive position. But we are not holding this pose for very long. What we want to do is keep finding range of motion in and stretching the fascia. So letting, if there's space in between your knee and the floor, and you know that you can get more space, then the block is not going to help you in that situation. What you want to do is kind of activate that stretch a little bit more by pressing your left hand down onto the outer right knee. So just and breathing deep. With your right arm here, you're maybe doing a sweeping motion out to the side, playing around with the range of motion in your right shoulder. Alright, so releasing out, coming back to center. Give yourself a hug. So both knees are going to come in. Relax that. Switching sides. Hold on to the left knee this time, and right leg is going to go straight away down to the floor. Okay, let's guide that knee over to the right side. The left arm is going to reach out to the left. You can move around with your head as well. You can do a slow head rocking motion, looking over your left shoulder, looking over your right shoulder. Make sure you're breathing deep, breathing into that back, breathing into any tightness you feel in your back, in your hips. Long deep breath in, and a long deep breath out. And then letting that go here. Coming back to center and give yourself a hug. Okay, so since we have blocks, not a balancing pose, but we're going to use a block for supported bridge position. So you can use this, and again, at 3 different heights. You can just slide the block underneath your bum in just a low position. Make sure your tailbone is on there, and this would just be your position. So that's how high your hips are going to go. But if you want more extension in the spine, then you can lift it up to medium, say, and again, your tailbone will be on the skinny edge of the block, and it's gonna feel more like the bridge, so more extension, and then higher yet, you'll go to the highest position, and again, smaller surface area yet, but again, you want to, as best as you can, try to get your tailbone right on that small edge of the block so that you won't be in pain for this. So you can also double up the blocks. You can say if you have 3 blocks, then you're just stacking 3 low blocks on top of each other. That way you get a nice lift, and it might feel more comfortable, more stable. So this could tend not to feel very stable unless you just practice more, and yeah, you kind of need to adjust quite a bit, but it does work. So feel free to hang out in whatever position you would like to go. I am in the highest position. I'm just gonna hang out here for the next minute, and then we will resume getting back into Shavasana. So we will proceed to get into Shavasana, not resume, but cooling down anyways. With your arms, you can really take advantage of this opening by lifting the arms alongside your ears. And this will bring in more oxygen into the lungs. Will just kind of lengthen the sidelines of the body, which is what you want as well. And with bridge too, just check out your chin. Make sure the chin is pulling away from the chest. So if you feel like you're kind of like chin into the chest, you can't really breathe, then lift your chin out. It's really it's a really easy adjustment, and then your throat will just feel more clear and your airways will be much more open. So that's something you can do as well. Arms can be out to a T position, and that might help you feel like your chest is stretching. So whatever arm position you would like to try is fine as well. Focus on those belly breaths. Okay, so let's just take one more deep breath in and deep breath out here in this bridge position. And then we're just going to gently release the block out from underneath, and then let your back drop to the floor. And we're going to stay with the knees bent and just enjoy that feeling of the low back really sinking into the floor, the feeling of space in your back. And then you can start to do your windshield wipers if you like. Maybe just a slow rocking windshield wipers, maybe like more fuller range where the knees drop way over to the left, way over to the right. You can take your arms out and do that as well. When you're ready, we'll just go right into Shavasana. So you can straighten one leg at a time. If it feels more comfortable just to keep your knees bent and more relaxing, just to keep your knees bent, then you can go ahead and do that. So you want to find in yourself the most comfortable position you can be in, so that you won't be distracted in the next few moments here as we go into stillness. So start by taking a deep breath in, filling the lungs, filling the belly, filling the sides of the body with a big inhale, and then you're exhaling everything out through the mouth. Deep sigh out through the mouth, bring some sound, let it go. Letting your day go, letting go of your past weekend, any stress, mental, physical, letting it go. And just keep it coming. Keep those inhales and exhales cycling through. Deep breath in, and then a long, slow exhale out. And you can exhale out through the mouth for another couple or so, and then you start cycling the breath in and out through the nose and just coming more into a rhythm of your own. The shoulders to sink down. Just kind of scanning through the body here and allowing all the muscles to start relaxing and becoming more and more still. Think about the heels contacting the floor. through the floor. It's softening the calf muscles, backs of knees, backs of thighs, fronts of thighs. Letting your whole right leg and your whole left leg just feel heavy, yet supported by the mat and by the earth. As you breathe in, think about breathing into your hips. The air swirling around your hips and help create space. And on your exhales, help to create the relaxation, the response. Relaxing the hips down to the floor, sides of the hips to the low back. Keep letting your back melt down from the mid to the upper back. Feel the shoulder blades pull down and back into the mat. Feel the backs of the arms sink deeper. Backs of arms and hands completely supported by your floor, by the earth. The sides of the neck begin to relax even more to allow the head to be supported by the floor as well. Sinking through the shoulders. Bring the attention to the top of your head, the hairline, relaxing across the forehead, the eyebrows. Want the eyelids to feel heavy and allow all the muscles around the eyes and face to relax even more. Paying attention to the jaw and the tongue in the mouth, especially letting it just be still. Awareness back into your breath, noticing your rhythm. See if you can soften your throat even more, soften the collarbones, chest, abdomen, and allow that breath to smoothly come in, move out, and your own body's slow rhythm. Your time here, slowly bringing the attention back to your breath. And start to allow some small movement to come through in your fingers and toes. The head rocking from side to side, maybe you're yawning, maybe taking lion's breath stretch. Arms extended overhead. Keep adding on bits of motion that help you feel like you're reawakening and starting to re-energize the body. Just enough to carry on the rest of your day or the rest of your evening here. So rolling or rocking over onto your right, and then you can make your way up to seated when you're ready. So namaste everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight, Monday night. So looks like some restrictions are easing, and studio may open for a Vinyasa class if it's kind of low intensity. So we might see about doing that and then having my HIIT class online still. So still undecided. It's all very new, but as far as I know, I'm going to be here on Wednesday for HIIT Core Yoga, doing live classes like always. Again, all of these classes are live. They're unedited and even archived as so. So what you see is what you get. This is how I teach my class. I don't really plan out too much, but yeah. I hope to keep doing it for a while here, and then yeah, I also like to go back in the studio and teach real life people. That's always cool too. But you guys can also send me comments and just let me know what you like to see in a class, so I can kind of cater a class towards yourselves. That would be great. Yeah, if you like this video, then click your like button and share it if you liked it even more. And you can also check out my Melissa Shippey YouTube channel, Live Elements channel, for other archived videos. So yeah, so see you guys later and have a great week. And